part of that.
The decision to sell the authority is whose ultimately?
It's the city. It's owned by the city of Hazleton. It's owned by the city, so city council can do it. They could actually take it back in-house right now. By a vote of council next week, we could do that. However, what happens, Bill, because we sell water outside of the city, any water that's sold outside of the city limits will be regulated by the PUC, which means that they'll raise the water rates, and so we don't want to do that. I don't want to raise the rates until we agree upon what we're going to do.
You're a solutions person. What's the solution to the state's transportation issues if we're not tolling?
Well, I'm not in favor of tolling, again, because of how it will impact our district here. I'm also, my family was in the road construction business, so it was hard for me to see the neglect in keeping our highways where they should be. And I also believe that Pennsylvania has neglected to upgrade our transportation system, not only the maintenance of the roads, but our transportation system. And we talk about this when you look at Philadelphia, for example, biggest city in the state of Pennsylvania. The Schuylkill Expressway hasn't changed in my entire lifetime. There's no HOV lanes. There's twice as many cars on the highway than ever before. The turnpike system hasn't improved. Rail hasn't improved. It takes the same amount of time to go from Pittsburgh to New York than it did 20 years ago. We have less flights out of Pennsylvania now than ever. It is not easy to navigate in and out of the state of Pennsylvania. That's not a business-friendly state. We need to make it easier for businesses and businessmen and people to travel around our state. Try to get a flight from Erie to Harrisburg. It's not easy to do. So I believe we've neglected our transportation system as well as the maintenance. But I don't believe tolling 80 was the answer. I believe the state is spending too much money, and I don't have a problem with leasing highways out. For example, in Florida, what they do for the maintenance in Florida, contractors will bid sections of their highway system. Maybe they'll put out for bid 100 miles of Interstate 75, and contractors will bid the total maintenance and care of that highway, from line painting to paving to guardrail. That's their road. And Florida has saved millions and millions of dollars by the state getting out of the road business and contracting it out to private industry. I think Pennsylvania should look to that, leasing the turnpike. I believe private industry does work cheaper than what state government could do. If we could get in a car and come to Hazleton right now, I'll show you as we speak an example of what they're doing on Broad Street in Hazleton. PennDOT maintenance. The cost to the taxpayers when this is done will be, I'll guarantee you, twice as much as if a private contractor came in and paved the road. And when it's completed, you wouldn't even know that they did any work. It's just, Pennsylvania's just got to look around and see what other states are doing. And one of the ways, possibly leasing highways. Pennsylvania's got to live within its means, cut back in other areas, and save money and invest it in their highways.
I want to take the issue of health care. Some of the Democrat incumbents who have visited with us said that they're doing a lot of education efforts right now. Once people realize what's in this bill, they're no longer opposed to it or as opposed to it. And I just wanted to get your thought on that, and what alternate proposal you would have put forward, or what aspects of the bill you think are helpful.
Who said that they're starting to like this bill?
Some of the Democratic incumbents said that they're having.
They're not talking to the same people I'm talking to. I don't see that at all. In fact, I see people are angrier the more They don't even know what's in the bill. I just heard a report today that their own health insurance might be affected by it. I'm not even sure they're certain what's in this bill. It's a job killer, number one. First of all, what we needed was jobs and the economy. That was the number one issue that everyone was worried about. And for the last year and a half, they were working on a health care bill that nobody really wanted. This bill addresses access, but it doesn't address cost. And if you talk to most Americans, and probably everyone here who has some kind of health insurance, most people would agree that there's a problem with the cost of health care, not as much the problem with access. Yes, there should be reform, and we should make sure everyone who wants health insurance should have it. I agree with that. But with that being said, they did not address the major concern, and that was the cost. This is a job killer. $52 billion in taxes to businesses who are not providing health insurance. If you have 52 employees, for example, 53 employees, and you're not providing health insurance, you're going to be fined. There's going to be a tax. How many businesses are just going to go down to 49 employees? It's a job killer. I'm pro-life, so I have a problem with my tax dollars going towards abortion. There are some good points in it. Allowing young adults to stay on until 26. I think that's a good point in the bill. Allowing people to get insurance with pre-existing condition is something I support. But I believe it's a $1.2 trillion cost. It's going to $500 billion coming out of the Medicare. There will result in less doctors, healthcare rationing, forcing people to buy insurance that don't want it, that simply do not want health insurance. Not only some young people, but very wealthy people. I think it's unconstitutional for the government to force individuals to have to buy health insurance if they didn't want it. And again, it doesn't address the issue, and that is the cost, as much as the access.
You raised the issue of abortion funding. You're saying even with the Hyde Amendment language in the bill and the President's executive order, you feel that realistically money will be spent?
Yeah, there's no doubt in my mind. The executive's bill doesn't mean anything. An executive order does not trump the bill. And an executive order tomorrow could wipe out that executive order. It's not the same, and everyone knows that. No, I don't believe so. Now, here's what I would like. I would have passed this bill in increments, take the parts where we can all agree on, and pass those portions of the bill, and address costs. And I believe the most obvious ways to address costs is to allow competition. Competition drives down price. So allow individuals to shop across state lines. What's wrong with that? Why are we forcing individuals to have to buy a product from a private company, and yet limiting us where we could go to buy that product? So I think if they allow competition, that will drive down the cost. I believe we need to address medical liability, tort reform, to drive down costs. I believe there should be portability. If you leave your job, you should be able to take your insurance with you. I believe we could allow small businesses to pool together so that they can get the same costs as larger companies.
Have you signed on?
Tax credits as well.